Mark and
Jocelyn.
and today we're here with our nice little live feed to help you travelers on your travels. So some people have already said hello. So hello everybody that's invited from
Morning.
London or Canada or wherever you're at.
Afternoon,
evening, nighttime, middle of the night. Who knows where you're at? We just want to say hey and thank you for joining us. For those of you who don't know, we'll be asking the feed will be on the side. Ask your questions. We'll do our best to answer. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We can't always get to all of them because we get a lot of questions sometimes once it starts getting going. And we're starting at 9:30 today, but we put the announcement out for like 10. So hopefully there'll be more coming later on. So we get a lot of questions here at the beginning. So I'll start with one. Olga wrote, and she said, "Hey, difference between a Caribbean cruise and a Mediterranean cruise." I would say with Caribbean cruises, it's much more you're going to be on the big boat doing the stuff on the boats, and then you just go hit the beach for the day. So you're going to, if you do the Turks and Caicos visit or Jamaica kind of thing, you're going to, hey, I've got the day at the beach. Whereas I think the Mediterranean one,
with excursions and things like that. But you have a lot more stuff to do on the boat, whereas the Mediterranean one, less boat time, more land time.
Yeah, and you have more city visits, I think, than you'll have like outdoor stuff. Like that's what we kind of recommend for families. If you got kids, we think the Caribbean cruises might be a bit better than the Mediterranean ones because just by the fact it's more beach time stuff than seeing museums or going to see churches and stuff like that.
It's culture heavy on the med stuff, whereas the Caribbean is a little more relax heavy. So sometimes that's a little easier to do with the kids.
Yeah. So one person asked, "Hey, I've got 2 days in Italy. What should I do?" If you only have 2 days in Italy, I'm sorry, but hey, at least you got 2 days. I would say if you're looking for a weekend, I would do Rome. Just do Rome, so you have your 2 days there. Another person wrote and asked about going to San Diego. What should they do for the day? San Diego is a great city. I mean, it's gorgeous. Sadly, getting to La Jolla, the beach up there, it takes you a lot of time to get up there. Parking's really tough and stuff, so you might want to skip that if you don't have a lot of time. What I would do is head down to the Gaslamp District, see some of the historic stuff there, grab a beer and a burger because they got really good craft beer and really good craft burgers down there. Do that and then have the zoo when you're in San Diego. And I'm not going to lie to you, the San Diego Zoo is expensive, but it is actually worth it. Like you're not upset afterwards because you're like, wow, that was a pretty good thing. So those are some questions to start off with. Jocelyn, you got some?
I got a couple of questions from people I've been writing. One person is going to Greece in November for their honeymoon. So congratulations. Greece is actually pretty nice in November. Depending on where you are, you can hit a little bit of snow or you cannot. But you said favorite islands, so I'm guessing you'll be in the south. I really love Crete. It's real Greece to me. It's not a lot of tourism, although there is some tourism in Hania and Heraklion. You can get away from it and you can really experience little villages and things like that. So that's a good time. The Sika, the figs come out in mid to late September, I think. So you might be able to get some good fresh figs. I cross my fingers on that because it's great. So that would be really great. I'm trying to think about some other islands. Santorini is always nice, and again, you're not going to have a lot of tourists in November. So Santorini, Mykonos, all of that will be pretty devoid of craziness. But on that note, you need to be aware that some places might not be open. So you may end up eating at the same restaurant every week or every day of the week or something because there may not be that many open. All right, so then somebody else had asked about some tips for taking kids on long-haul flights. First, prep the kids, just talk to them about how it's going to be a long time, and children don't always get the concept of time. So maybe you can say it's like watching 3 of their favorite movies, whatever their favorite movie is. Like you're going to watch that 3 times. That's how long the flight is. So they kind of have an idea of how long it is. Second, if you can leave in the evening and get them so that it's kind of more their natural time to sleep, dress them in comfy clothes so they can fall asleep more easily. I mean, if they're really little, we took our kids in pajamas a few times when we have overnight flights. Talk to your pediatrician about melatonin. We live by melatonin so that our kids can go to sleep, but also so they can wake up a little bit closer to the correct time zone, it really helps to even things out, right?
Because I was going to say one thing. One thing I've learned. So
go ahead, tell me.
Because we have all this stuff.
The one thing.
The one thing I've learned when you're doing the long haul flights with kids, do not get the kids' headphones from Target or wherever, because the kids' headphones, they're set at the lower, so it can't get put up to high volumes. It's set at a low volume. And the problem is the air pressure and with the engines, you cannot hear anything with those kids' headphones. So they need to have like real headphones, not kids' headphones for those long haul flights.
Oh, you mean children's headphones? Yeah. I got it, because I actually do buy our headphones in the dollar aisle at Target. They're like $5 over the year, but they're adult headphones, so there isn't a volume monitor on it. And they're $5, so if they break them or they leave them on the plane or something, I'm not terribly upset about it. I don't, like those, what are the ones from Dre? Beats. They're like $300.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. Shaquille forget them on the thing anyway. Yeah. Okay, so we got a bunch of other stuff here. So I've written down a few of your questions as it's been going by. One person asked about Riverboat Cruises in Europe. Have we done them? My parents love them. My parents go on them all the time, and they do make a nice little like relaxing trip. But remember, any kind of cruise you're going to go on, you're on their schedule, and if somebody else's problem is now your problem, so there are those. So if I was going to do a riverboat cruise, look for the ones that are like 3 to 5 days long, so you have a short one to see if something you like, and then if you do like it, then you could go on like a 10 to 12 day one or a longer one like that. New Zealand, Australia, got a bunch of questions on that. We will get there eventually. Actually, we don't get sponsored by anybody, but Air New Zealand had a really insane deal yesterday. It was like $700. Or no, sorry. It was to New Zealand, but it was with Fiji Air. Okay, Fiji Air had a deal, and it was like you can go from LA to Fiji, stay for 3 days in Fiji, then you can go to Australia or New Zealand for like $700. So I thought that was a really crazy deal, and I'm like, why do we have everything booked so far ahead? So we couldn't take advantage of that. Someone asked about Northern Ireland. Yes, I've been to Northern Ireland. She hasn't been, but we're going to go probably next year on our family road trip. We go there, but Northern Ireland, Whiskey Trail, Belfast. But for me, seeing Giant's Causeway, which are these kind of hexagon, octagon pylons that are rocks that are coming out of the ground, it's amazing. If you watch our video on what to know before you go to Ireland, you'll see pictures of it towards the end of the video. Pisa, you go there. What do you go to Pisa for, baby?
Get the picture. It's a picture, and then you leave. The back history is really cool.
Yeah.
But that takes 20 minutes max.
Yeah, so like it's not an overnight kind of thing.
We're not Pisa fans.
No.
I'm not trying to be ugly.
There are a couple museums that you can see.
There are.
But overnight, I wouldn't overnight there.
I wouldn't spend a lot of time there.
Half day kind of stuff, okay? Other stuff. Colombia, we are going there. Don't worry, that'll be there. Yes, we have been to the Netherlands. We've been there quite a few times. We got a bunch of videos. I think one more to go out, and we'll be back in the Netherlands. I think we're going to Utrecht and Amsterdam and a couple other places this summer, so we'll be back there. Baltics, if you want to go to the Baltics, I recommend Tallinn is the best place, then probably Riga, Vilnius, and then if you're going in the summer, maybe the islands of Estonia. They're also really kind of cool, so that's what I'd recommend for that. Something exotic to eat in Greece, I would say octopus, or when you see them like sunning the octopus after they've caught them, that's pretty cool. Someone asked if we're going to go to Romania. That's a 2020 summer possibility. I'm trying to get these short ones out, then we're going to go back to longer ones. And then one person wrote, hey, does using incognito mode actually help with getting lower prices?
Yes.
Like, do they track you and then raise the prices? Yes, I have seen that where I'll look other places. So that is one thing. I mean, it doesn't always work that way, but if you're not sure, you can always check it that way and see. Because sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't, okay? So, Tim's 81, right. As the boys grow up, will you change your trips and travels? I think, yeah, we will in a way.
We will?
Well, no, in terms of we're going to go more adventures and places.
Yeah.
You know, like people ask us, are you going to go to Antarctica? I'm like, well, we will, but we can't go yet. I mean, Liam's 7, so we'll wait till he's a bit older to experience, like, understand these things. Yeah, Cuba, we're going to be going there eventually.
They won't take our kids. Well,
they will. Just the places
it's really difficult.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, we're looking at, like, for example, now we're doing more adventurous outdoor things, trying to go places more like hiking and stuff like that, because the kids are big enough now that I'm not worried about it. So in that respect, as the kids are getting older, we're getting more adventuresome with a place we're going to go film and things. So that's kind of cool. Hey, okay. Detroit. Good to see you.
All right. So Somebody asked about what your budget should be in Japan if you do an Airbnb and food. You know, it really depends. Japan is not cheap. I would, whatever you would spend in, let's say, France, I would almost double it. Because everyone travels differently, I can't give you an exact amount, but I would sort of double it if you're or thereabout. So anyway, there you go. What to wear in Germany in March? And this woman Donna, it was her first trip going to Germany. I prefer to take a lot of mix and match things. So like max I ever take is 5 tops and 5 bottoms that all match each other. I wear a lot of black. I think everyone in Europe wears a lot of black, generally speaking. Definitely have a couple of layers because it might get a little bit chilly in March. So you definitely need like long sleeve shirt, cardigan, and a jacket. You might have to take some of those things off as you go throughout the day, but at least that way you're kind of prepared. Someone is going to Amsterdam with 3 kids under 8. What to do? There's actually a lot to do in Amsterdam. I have to say that our kids really enjoyed the Van Gogh Museum.
Yeah.
Because it's something they see all the time. It's just part of our normal culture, right? And so when they actually get to see that up close and personal, that means a lot to them. And right between the Rijksmuseum and the Van Gogh Museum is a huge green space. So there's a lot of playing, a lot of running. There's the harbor tour is really good. That's another thing that I would look into doing. I kind of like to wander Amsterdam, and I always find cool little places and not too far. So if you're facing the Rijksmuseum off to the left, I have no idea what direction that would be. But if you go this way, there's a cool place, and it's full of fossils and minerals and things like that. And honestly, my kids just absolutely think that is like a super amazing, cool thing to do.
But I will say, when you are taking the little ones to Amsterdam, do be careful with the bike lanes because the bike things will run. They don't care. Kids, adults, old people, tourists. I mean,
stay out of the bike lane.
Remember, red is dead because that's where the bike lanes are.
Uh-huh.
So do be careful with that because I have seen a lot of people.
Because they're the only ones with right of way. No one has right of way except the bikers.
Yeah.
And then someone else was taking a family of 4, 2 teens, to Europe, I think, and they wanted to know about packing. So what we do up until now, we've been doing 2 carry-ons for the 4 of us. The kids are getting bigger, and so we need more space. So we're now doing 3 carry-ons for our family of 4 with 2 teens. I would imagine that 4 carry-ons would be really great as long as they're responsible for their own stuff. I would rather do that than 2 checked bags, like you had said, 2 larger checked bags, simply because if you're jumping on trains and buses and whatnot, it's a lot easier for everyone to just grab their one carry-on and go, rather than finding space for 2 big suitcases can be a little bit difficult.
So a couple questions have come through.
Hi, Sarah. She says, yes, they're married. I was at the wedding. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, someone on there asked if we're married. Yes, we are married.
Mwah.
That's right. So some other ones. Hi, everyone that's saying hi. We want to say hi to everybody. New subscribers on there. We've seen you right on there from Australia and other places. We want to say hi and thank you. And all the people that said hi, we just want to say hi to you too. So if I don't get a chance to wait, like if I'm waving, it's me with the people that said hi. I'm just waving at you guys, y'all. So some other questions that we had that were up there. Did we ever do foreign exchange? I actually did. I went to Australia for a summer when I was in high school. I went to Finland for a year when I was in high school. In college, I went to Austria for a summer. I went to Argentina for a semester. I did my master's in Germany. I did my PhD in Portugal. So yeah, I'm very much a proponent of study abroad. I actually take students for my job. I'll take them on study abroad trips as well. So we'll go sometimes for because some students don't want to go for a semester. So we go for 10 days so we can show them culture and business in Spain. Like one person asked if we're going to be back in Madrid. And I'm like, yeah, I might be back next year taking students there. So maybe we'll have some tapas in a Saturday or 2. So there is that. Another person was asked about Chile. We do not have any videos on Chile. I've actually been there a few times back in the day when I studied in Argentina. And then when I went back again later on in life. And Chile is probably is one of the most relaxed. Like, if you want to feel safe and you're in South America, I mean, you can feel safe a lot of places in South America, but Chile is really a good one for that. But for there, there's nothing like seeing the sunset in Chile because it is just gorgeous. But I'll tell you right now, the water is freezing cold. So if you get a chance, Santiago, go to Viña del Mar there to see the sunset. But you can go down to the south, the Patagonia, the mountainside of it, and go hiking there and see the glaciers. That's really cool. Or the Atacama Desert in the north. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. So there's some stuff there.
Somebody asked about me doing a travel fashion video. At some point, I feel like I absolutely have to do it because people keep asking, but I find that people get really angry when I talk about fashion, or like what shoes to wear or whatever, because everyone's got their own opinion and people are really upset about it sometimes. But at some point, I'll do it. On that note, somebody asked about packing for special events, like going to the opera, the theater, and things like that. So I have a couple of ideas on that. One, go ahead, take your favorite black dress that will go with everything and that, folds up and packs nicely. And second idea, buy something while you're there, and you'll remember it always. It'll be like a great thing to have back. Go dogs. And then the other option is this, and I don't know if it's actually an option, but I kind of want to try and see what happens with it. I want to try and do that rent the runway thing in Europe when we're traveling. Why are you frowning?
Let's rent the runway. I don't know.
You know when we had that benefit that we went to last year and I rented that dress?
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it would be really brilliant if you could rent, because it comes within 2 or 3 days usually. I don't know if they're in Europe or if it works that way, but if it is or there's something there, that would be a really cool thing to do because then you don't have to deal with anything, right? All right. So, yes, go dogs. That's my cup. Yep.
And we'll
Santa girl-ish.
We just bought tickets last night to go down to a game for University of Georgia game next year. So we'll be there. So there'll be probably some Athens, Georgia videos popping up. And
I'm really sad, though, that Holyfield is doing the draft because I really wanted to see him play. But that's okay. There's so many guys that I'm just so pumped to go see.
Anyway, so we have some other things. One person asked about, hey, advice for U.S. national parks. That's one thing is a lot of people, when they think of traveling in the U.S., a lot of times they just think, I'm going to New York or Chicago, but the national parks, the natural beauty of the U.S. is great. If you want to check out a really good site for that, some friends of mine, Grant and his wife, it's called A Wander-Filled Life. Like wander.
No.
Our dog's he's eating the tennis ball.
He ate it.
Oh, Brig. He's going to be pooping that out later.
Yo, that's an eaten tennis ball.
Yeah.
That is gross.
And so A Wander-Filled Life, they go to all, like their thing is to go to every national park. So they've got anything you've ever wanted. They've got tons of stuff there. Lots of great advice too. Even if you're RV travelers too, they have a lot of stuff for that. Somebody's told us we should go to Peru. We actually do have a bunch of videos from Peru. And we have more Peru videos coming, like, what you don't do at Machu Picchu, like drop the camera and break it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. So the lower quality from the camera, it was actually just my phone. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Yes, we'll be back in Belgium actually this year to film some new videos for that. So there's some stuff there. Hey, one person wrote and asked, hey, do I need to show proof that I'm leaving before 90 days when I come in the Schengen countries? Here's the thing. I've gone in where I haven't had that, but it really depends where you're from. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. The kind of passport you have, they're going to be stricter or less stricter depending on those things. Sometimes they're just like, hey, what are you here for? Other times, like, here's your passport, go. So, I mean, have something that's out there that you might want to have that. So don't be surprised if they do ask. But because I've had it seen, like, do you have money? It does depend on where your passport's from, which is kind of sad. But that's one thing I would tell you. Would you go to the Cayman Islands? Yes, we would go there. Waffles in Belgium? Yes, you should have waffles in Belgium. They're really, really good.
Mm-hmm. That was a cow kiss. What do we call that? Starfire kiss from Teen Titans Go.
Jinx!
All right.
So let's get back to these actual travel things. Hey, Hollywood. We will get... Oh, so the Canadian Rockies, one person asked about that. One of these summers, we're going to do another... Because we've done a lot of East Coast road trip, like from Midwest to the Southeast up to Canada, kind of road trip triangle. Well, eventually we're going to do one that's going to be, from where we are in Illinois, go out to the West Coast, then coming back through the Canadian Rockies through Canada. So that's a future summer long trip we have coming up. Hey, from South Africa, good to see you there.
Oi, James, definitely. If you're in Belo Horizonte, you should definitely go to Ouro Preto. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that was one of my favorite cities in all of Brazil. I absolutely fell in love with it. We took a couple day trips from there. And we spent one day in Belo Horizonte and then went.
The architecture of Belo Horizonte is really nice.
It's really lovely. And then we went to Ouro Preto and we spent 3 or 4 nights there.
Yeah, we have a few videos on just look up Minas Gerais, Brazil, Wolters World, that should come up. And I'm actually I just started the editing process on the 511 Heights of Ouro Preto. So there'll be some stuff coming. Hopefully I can get out before you get there. Have you ever been to St. Louis, Missouri? Yes, many, many times.
More times than we can count. I lived in Washington. It was 40 minutes outside or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Day trip in Paris. Recommend places to go. So there's Giverny, and there's Versailles. Fontainebleau.
So Fontainebleau was Versailles before Versailles. It's another one of those big palaces. Giverny is where the painting Monet was. Oh my God!
Stop the big lily pad things.
Yes.
All this.
Monet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lily pads, but why can't? Y'all, I went to art school.
That's right. Well worth the education. There we go. So any new 1081, any new clothing merchandise coming out soon? Yes, we will be having a new set of stuff coming. We're gonna have quarter zips. Well, I think it's gonna be black with an embroidered Wolters World on it, like the nice one you see me wear. We'll have that. We'll have another quarter zip option. I think we might go for an Italy theme this year, so it'll be a blue one with the Italian logo, and then we'll have probably 2 different T-shirts as well. So that'll be probably in middle of February. We'll have those things out. So just go to woltersworld.com/shop. We'll have that stuff up there. We'll put out videos for it. We'll probably have it open for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, because if we have everybody ordered together, then we can have it made, and it cuts down the cost a lot. So we do it that way instead of having it sit up there forever, because then the prices are higher and stuff like that. So
Paris and Rome, do you do Airbnb or not? So you know what? Actually, more than Airbnb, I have used Airbnb in Paris. I haven't used it in Rome. But we actually do, what's the name of the group that I use?
The VRBO.
Yeah, VRBO. But
which is now Home Away.
Home Away, that's what I was trying to think of. So we actually use that because there's a little more, if something is wrong or goes wrong, you have a little more, some fallbacks, like if they don't come through on what they promised or whatever. So there's that. And I think you could do either one. Actually, I really love renting apartments in both of those places because you get to really live the life. Travis, new sub, thank you. How often can we expect lives? I feel like we're about once a month.
Yeah, but we're trying to do more. That was one of the things I want to do this year is instead of being once a month, we're trying to do 2, maybe 3 a month. To make it more, because we get to help a lot more people here with little questions.
A lot more interaction. We get to answer so many more questions.
Yeah, because it's someone once asked, what are some good day trips from London? And, Cambridge is one I like the best. It's an easy one to go to. But you go to Hampton Court. That's really cool. You can see that. So there are some nice little close by things. And someone asked, what about Brighton? Have you been there? Yes, you can take the train down to Brighton and see the it looks like, it's just cool. What's it called? The palace that's there. We were just there. We were there a few months ago.
I'm sorry.
Never mind. You're
I'm writing.
So there's those things. So I have been to Kara. I have been there. So I've been to Brighton, but that's another easy thing to do. Dallas Cowboy. Thank you very much, and I agree with you. Handsome devil indeed.
Do too.
And that's actually the team I cheer for. And I've been cheering for those since I was a little kid. So go Cowboys. Another person asked, "Hey, going to China with my girl." That's college football.
I know.
Anyway, someone wrote and they said, "Hey, we're going to China with my girlfriend, and is there going to be a lot of English in the restaurants?" No.
None.
No English menu. No English. No.
Oh
just
no. And then you think you're going to be able to say things in Pinyin or whatever, or show things to people. Nobody knows that either.
So if you're not sure what Pinyin is, it's when basically you take Chinese and put it in
into Western letters so you can say it.
Yes, you can say it, but the thing is it gets lost, especially
Chinese is such a tonal language that if it says something and you just read it that way, you might be highly insulting someone, but all you're saying is hot dog. I mean, it's horrible the way it goes. So yeah, don't expect a lot, but you can manage. We lived there for an entire summer, and he was working. I had the 2 kids, and I cried a couple of days because I got lost and couldn't get a taxi. because the word taxi is universal except in China. Well, like on the outskirts. Like if you're near the touristy stuff, you'll do okay there.
So another thing I would say with the English when you're in China, like your hotel, get their card that has it in Chinese, because you may think you can say it right. There could be issues, especially if you're in Beijing, because a lot of people from all over the country have come to work there. So it's like Uber drivers in the U.S. They're from anywhere. They just do the Uber thing and they follow the Google Maps stuff. And the taxis in Beijing, some don't like, they speak with a different accent or something like that. It can be an issue. So have it written down in there. Have a map where you can point. Because I can't tell you how many times we bust up our maps. We're right. That's where we want to go, and that really helped out. So have those things there. Ozcon, right? No interaction here. I don't know what you're saying. So we're trying to interact. And another thing with the things, if you in China with the restaurants, get an app that can actually translate pictures, so you can like put the picture over the menu and see the translation there. So that would be one thing I'd suggest.
Have you been here?
Remy, no, I've not been to Remy, France.
I haven't been to Remy either. Would you recommend a tour of the Champagne country or do it on your own? We usually do things on our own, but when it comes to like drinking things, sometimes it's nice to have the tour, because then you don't have to worry about driving or any of that, and they already arrange, the different places for you to see. So there you go.
Another thing I would say for that is, if you're looking for, what might be nice if you're going to spend like a week there, maybe the first day do the tour, so you get a feeling what you should be looking for. So then you're more of an educated tourist when you're going around on your own. Okay.
Water in Peru.
No, you have to get bottled water.
You use bottled water for everything.
Yeah. So do that.
I also had a water filter thing, and not a filter, but it's like a pen, a Steri pen, I think is what it's called. And it cleaned your water. So for like brushing teeth and stuff, we did that. But we didn't use that for drinking, although you can, and it's fine.
And when I hiked Inca Trail, I had the little pellets, and so I get the river, or like the stream water, and then I put the pellet in that would clean the water. So there are those things. So do have a heads up for that.
Have you been to LA? Yes. When I was a kid, I used to go there a lot. My aunt was a researcher at UC Santa Barbara, and so for whatever reason, we went to Santa Barbara, but also LA a lot. And yeah, it was really fun. So I really want to take the kids to the La Brea Tar Pits. That would be my thing for LA. That's my favorite. And
we'll have some LA videos later this year, because I'm going to go to VidCon this year. So I'll be filming when I'm down there for that too. Some other fun stuff. Some people ask, hey, where to eat in Paris?
Well, I was going to answer that too. I was dreaming about our favorite restaurant last night. No joke. It's funny that you asked this question. So my favorite restaurant, there's two in Montmartre that I really like. One is like, you're going to have to help me with this. It means
seriously, no Fortnite. I'm playing FIFA. Okay. Mr. Bandwidth Stealer.
It's the Three Little Pigs. It's like un, deux, trois porquinhos. No, that's Portuguese.
That's wrong.
Whatever. It's the Three Little Pigs.
Well, we like to go to Montmartre. Yeah.
But my favorite one in Montmartre is the
like the cow.
The vache et cuisinier.
Yeah, the cow and the cook or something like that.
Yeah, and that one's really good, and it's always filled with locals, so that's how you know that it's good. But generally speaking, when you eat in Paris, get away from the stuff, and we tell you this for like pretty much any touristy place. Just leave that area, listen for the sounds of locals, and that's where you eat. And some interesting souvenirs. So I love to buy clothes in Paris. I have more clothes from Paris than I do clothes from America. I just, it's a fashion place, right? So you can find these wonderful little boutiques that aren't even terribly expensive or anything, but it's off the rack, but they may only make like 5 or 6 things, and so you get one of those 5 or 6 things, and that's kind of cool. Can't play Fortnite because we're online, and we wouldn't have enough.
Yeah, even though we have like Comcast's super duper biggest or second biggest thing that it said, oh, you have 100 gigs, a bajillion for every millisecond. Yeah, we don't. And so if he plays Fortnite, all of a sudden we get all grainy and stuff like that. Bandwidth Stealer, exactly. So I'm going to answer a couple of them. I'm going to help with the dog. So the one thing I will say about Fortnite, that has actually helped Caleb keep in contact with his buddies that he's made on our travels. So he plays with his buddy Junior in Barcelona. He plays with his buddy Martine, who's in England and stuff like that. So that's one way they can kind of hang out together. So that's kind of a cool thing. Travis Duquette, thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. I don't know if you asked a question yet, but let us know. We'll try to get you some answered with those things. And then I have one more. Then I want to run off and get the dog.
He's whining at the garbage can where I threw away his chewed up tennis ball.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now he might be at the door. I don't know. He's just being a pooper. All right. So yes, that's it. The Trois Petits Cochons. That's it, Bob. Thank you. That's the restaurant in Paris. Okay. So someone had asked about visiting Edinburgh, Glasgow, Galway, Sevilla, Granada, and somewhere in Emilia-Romagna in Italy in a month. I think you can do it. I might cut Galway out because that's, Ireland, right? So Edinburgh, Glasgow, and then fly to Spain. And you can definitely do Sevilla and Granada together in 3 or 4 days, and then fly to Italy. You could definitely do 10 days in each of those in Italy, 10 days in Spain, and 10 days in Scotland, and you can make that work. I think it would actually be a really fun trip. All right, Tamarilla asks, what's your favorite place to eat in Athens and Heraklion? My family's houses. I don't know that I have specific restaurants that we go to a lot.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
We ate out more in Hanya than we did in Heraklion.
In Hanya, there were. Right, because in Heraklion we were with family, and also we were at the Metoki, not our country house, Caleb's Nuna, Caleb's godmother's family's country house, and that's out, in the boonies. So we don't eat out a lot in Heraklion, and really not too much in Athens either. Athens is usually like our 2-day stopping place before we go to family. So I don't have a lot there for you. Will we be back to Ireland soon? Aren't you going, or weren't you just there? You were just there.
But I think we'll go back as a family probably. We were going to go this October for our family road trip one, but we have a friend who's celebrated a big birthday, so he wanted to go to France, so we're going back to France for that. But I think that'll be our family road trip next year when we go over and rent a car. Because if you're a family and you want to have a time just together, the family road trip here you go in the U.S., it's such a long one, but when you go into Europe and do it, it's a smaller.
You can see so much more.
But also you spend time together, and that's one of our favorite times when we get to do these road trips with our kids in Scotland or England or Wales or Ireland.
We do about one a year, whether it's in the U.S. or outside. Iceland was a cool road trip. We did one in France. We've done Ireland. We've done Scotland. They're good times. They're always wonderful for us. Okay, so German souvenirs. What are those things called, Mark? The pyramid with the fan thing on top.
Pyramid.
Oh, see, there, a pyramid. Tons and tons of Christmas stuff. Christmas is so quaint and perfect in Germany that I think that's what I would get if it were up to me.
And we usually buy paintings, and then we hang cheap street artist paintings that have frames that are worth more than the paintings. We have those. That's our big souvenir, and they're easy to pack when you're going through. We actually have a video on what not to buy, what souvenirs to try to avoid. Like, you're not going to wear the traditional clothes ever, the big bulky stuff. And remember, you are not UPS. You are not buying stuff for other people to travel back, because they can order. There's a thing called Amazon. Yes. They can order, get anything you want around the world and do that. Okay, so you'll have that.
Yeah.
John Downey, will you adopt me? Well, I don't know if I could take a third kid. I don't know.
I don't know that I have patience for it.
Do you wipe your own butt? That's our first step. We got to make sure that's one of those things there. Time for a kiss.
Oh.
Love you. Thank you for that. Top 3 places with the freshest air and tap water. Scandinavia.
Absolutely.
Finland, Sweden, Norway. Those are clean, or Iceland.
Yep. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
But those would be my places with the cleanest air, freshest air, tap water stuff.
Jinx means you can't talk
I know, but your name's Jinx, so there we go. Anyway, right. So there is that.
Thank you, Bia. That's kind of you.
Thank you, Bia.
You're moving across the world. Thank you. We appreciate you too. But if you have any questions moving across the world, let us know, because we've done it
a few times.
Yeah, so let us know if we can help.
Okay, so Paris or Tuscany for 2019?
Both.
Both if you can.
How long have you got?
Yeah, it really depends on how long you have. Because if you have
really,
like a week, I'd do the Tuscany one because you can explore a lot of villages.
You can get a lot
but
more.
If you have like less than a week, I would do Paris, use that as a base, and go out to the day trips.
But if you got 2 weeks, I'd do them both.
Yeah, because you can get it, and you can fly between two cheap. So Denmark's nice, but the water's not as clean, and air's not as sweet as it is farther north. Let's see.
My mom and you need somewhere to go that is good for both of us, and you're 14. Well, Sam, Caleb is 12, almost 13, and he likes adventurous places, and we love to do them with him.
It's like Costa Rica was really good. He liked that. Iceland, he liked that for the outdoor stuff.
Right.
I think he liked
Spain.
Yeah, he likes Spain.
Spain and Italy both have a couple of really cool amusement parks that are great for adults and kids, but there's a lot of cultural stuff outside of them, so you can see other things too.
And it's not just boring cultural stuff. I know,
no,
you're 14,
cool
you're like, I don't want to go to museums. But actually, so you're like, I've seen that in movies. I've seen that before.
Big things.
So like you'll feel like, hey, that's cool. And then your mom and you, like when you're watching movies sometime together, like, hey, we went there and did that. Like that's kind of a nice thing there.
Mm-hmm. Somebody was asking about the Midsummer's Eve. Have you done that? You did it in Portugal with Sebastian. You guys threw your own little party.
We have a video for Midsummer's in Sweden.
It's funny, y'all. They weren't very sober. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, no, Midsummer's in Sweden is the place to be. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. First European trip for frugal parents in the late 60s, UK, France, or Germany.
Ooh.
Not the UK, because that's the most expensive of the two.
Or the three. If you're going to be staying in London, that is definitely going to be destroy your budget. Right. France and Germany, I think, will be kind of a tie.
I would too, but if you get outside the bigger cities, you can probably do it a lot less expensively.
I said a little less expensively.
Okay, a little less expensively.
So, okay, time for Kisses Back. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Ever been to Travel and Adventure Show or other cons? Well, the last 2 years, we have tried to go to the Travel and Adventure Show in Chicago. Last year, there was a huge blizzard and we got snowed in.
No, it was ice last year.
Well, I know it was ice and snow last year. It was
it
was blizzard
crap
last
weather.
year. So we couldn't even get up there. And then this year, it happened again. It was a whole ice storm. We couldn't get up there.
God doesn't want us to go to the travel show, apparently.
Yeah, but I will say the pros and cons of the travel shows. One, you get to see a lot of things you never really thought of because a lot of smaller places will be there. Like, oh, I never thought about doing a trip to Wisconsin, or I never thought about going to Fiji or something like that. And they'll have a lot of stuff there. And sometimes they'll have deals that they have there and getting the swag and stuff like that. But one of the things that's nice is there'll be a lot of talks that are there. And you can see people like I know in Travel Adventure, I know like Rick Steves and Samantha Brown, and there's a few like one of the Frummers, she's there. And the thing is, they're season ones. You're like, hey, I see you on TV, see you in person. They'll take Q&A and stuff like that, so that's kind of nice. Tyler, sorry.
Well, I want to talk about this really quick because it's come up once or twice. Do we have any concerns about TSA shortage at airport security lines due to the recent government shutdown? You know what? I know they've had some problems in New York at LaGuardia and Newark, but I'm going to tell you something that I think is happening. I think that those two airports are just always freaking behind schedule, and it doesn't have a damn thing to do with the TSA shortage. Everything seems okay in Atlanta, and I haven't even heard anything about O'Hare. And those are the two that we fly through probably the most. So I haven't heard anything specific other than the New England area, New York. So
yeah, and now I mean it should be calmed down.
It should be getting better.
That's one of the things is whenever you're looking at flying, like we always check our smaller airports near us to fly out of them because either it's for free parking or lower cost parking and shorter lines of TSA. So for example, Indianapolis, there's like sometimes the TSA pre-check line is actually longer than the normal check line. So you're like, oh, because there's so few people flying through there. So sometimes that helps you avoid. So if a couple people don't show up,
big airport.
Yeah. So if a couple people don't show up, it doesn't have as much of an impact.
Right.
So Brandon Bowman, thank you very much for the super chat. I've been watching for about a year now. I love your videos. I'm sure you get this question a lot, but how many countries have you each visited? I've only been to high 50s, I think 60 now.
I don't know.
Because we keep track of the kids actually, because Caleb's at 40 countries and Liam's at I think 35, because my goal is for when they go to college, I want to get them to 100 countries, but I don't want to do it like we're just going to go to a country, so you go to a country.
We want them to experience
it. That's why you see we have a lot of videos with me in different fatnesses from Italy and Germany and stuff like that, and Brazil, because we really want to explore the places and not just get to all of them. So we're not like, we don't do bucket lists like, oh, we saw it and go, because we see people that, we were in Chichen Itza last year.
Oh, yeah.
And like you could see the people like they literally ran up, got their selfie with the queen, and then ran off. I'm like, you're not gonna learn more.
There's no experience in that.
Yeah, it's just oh look, I go to 100 places like that.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. I remember I had some of my students where I teach. They're accounting students. They're very much into the numbers, and there was this young lady. She did a really cool thing. She went to like every country in the world in like 18 months or 2 years or something like that. And my students go, well, Mark, how could she see it? Because we did the math, and it meant she spent a day and a half in each country. I'm like, well, she went to all the countries, yeah, but they're like, but how did she experience this stuff? Like, well, I'm sure she got some ideas, but it's really hard to learn a lot about a culture.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and it's hard to really experience a culture when it's really quick. So that's why you'll see us be like, well, why don't you just go here? I'm like, well, if I'm going to go someplace, I need to, if I haven't been there before, I mean, I really want to research it so we can make the best videos possible to prepare people for that. So that's why, I mean, we have a library here, and the 2 shelves behind you are all travel books where we research online all kinds of stuff. So we do that. So I hope that helps answers kind of your question there. Yeah, right. So Chris Bates, I had a trip this week, DC, no lines at TSA at all.
That's good.
From and to Phoenix. So,
and somebody said everything just opened back up. That's good. I'm glad. That's awesome.
Okay, Sam is back. Cities that don't just have museums.
Katie, I love that.
So some places where you want to go. Sam, no, Rio's not super safe. I would not go with you and your mom if you're.
No, I wouldn't do that.
So there's that.
Especially if you haven't traveled a lot. Yeah.
Sorry, there's what Mike saw. I was like, how? So Sagarin writes, how to buy souvenirs that are worth the money.
Come.
I think that's one of those things. Is what's worth the money to you is if you make a connection with it. It's like, this is something I can see. Like for us, we're like, I can see that hanging in my house. I could see me putting that in my office, and I have some kind of attachment with it. Like that's why I don't like to like see stuff like, oh, I'll just buy it online later. Look, if I'm going to buy it online later, it's not important to me. I don't want it. I like to have that connection. I know with my mom, like she has a Christmas ornament problem, and I might have one as well. We still have 3-4 trees up right now.
We have 4 trees up, and we still have about 150 ornaments, at least 150 ornaments in a box because we don't have enough trees to put them on.
She's not bitter. She's not bitter at all.
That's our child's like education right there.
Moving on.
A lot of it was before we had children.
That's right, and before you.
And I have put
my Christmas orders were there before you.
You say?
No, I'm
They're more important.
They were there before you. Will they be ever?
You want to see a Wolters World fight? Anybody?
Anyway, well, if it makes you any better about the 4 trees, two of them only have lights on them, and then 2 have ornaments on them. So there's
now.
Now.
Okay, so Nader, I wanted to say congratulations. I saw that you got hired on as a flight attendant on our community thing that I was looking at on the question we had put up on our community thing in Wolters World. Bea wants to know about what did you do for medical insurance when you lived on Australia? She's moving there from Canada for a few years.
The program I was in, you bought a local insurance package. I know, like when we lived in Portugal, when I lived in Germany and Lithuania and stuff like that, I had to buy insurance, and I know like I had special student rates in Germany where it was like $24 a month or something like that. And then we were in Portugal. It was like 240 euros a month for the whole family. So you did pick up private insurance when you're there. So it's not U.S. prices in Australia. So you'll be okay there. Karen in the UK, please help me find a nice Europe city break for May. Okay, so May is a great time to visit Europe, no matter where you go, because the weather's pretty much nice everywhere. It's not too hot, and the cold is gone. Also, you don't have really any of the family travelers because the kids are still in school pretty much everywhere in the world, so that helps you out. So having said that, I mean, if you want to get some of the more popular places, like the Parises and Romes without all the super huge crowds, that's going to be your time to go, okay? Have I ever been to Cleveland? Yes, I was in Cleveland, and I remember last time I went there, I was supposed to see Green Day and the flats down there at the river, and then they canceled it because they were worried there'd be a riot, and there was almost a riot because they canceled the concert. But anyway.
Love Green Day. Hey, Chris, thank you. Much appreciated. Best time to leave for LA out of Atlanta?
I'm always get out as soon as you can. because think
Then
about it. Because
you're going back in time.
Yeah.
So you get more time during the day in LA.
Yeah, because I'm flying out to LA and I'll be like on the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning flight. And I get in, I actually get in before all the traffic in the afternoon and stuff like that. Because you want to get there before like 2 or 3. Because if you get there at like 3:30, you're not going to get in your Uber or your taxi till about 4 and rush hour has already started. So you want to go, I would go as early as you can. That would be my advice.
You just read that one. You did this one.
You
right?
use City Break from UK. Oh, I have no. Well, I just said City Break. Anyway. Good City Break places. Lisbon is great. Madrid, Barcelona, Rome. Because you got a bunch of stuff to see. But if you look for if you're gonna do a city break, look for smaller towns to enjoy stuff like a Salzburg or because you can fly to Munich and Salzburg's an hour and a half on a local train. Get the Bayern ticket. It's one ticket is up to 5 people for like €50, something like that. Because that's what's nice about those city breaks. Lets you to explore a different city. So look at some of the crazy destinations they have. Like, I don't know that place. Why don't we go there? Let's go to Gdansk, Poland. Why not? So there's something like that. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. September, Vienna, Madrid, or London?
September, Vienna, Madrid, or London.
I choose London.
I mean, all of them will be fine.
Yeah, they would all be fine, but I choose London because it's really it's nice time. There's not a ton of tourists.
Yeah, because we even see it on our channel. Like people prepare for their travels from like the day after Christmas through like middle of August, and then they're traveling out, getting ready to travel. They travel all that time, and then September is kind of like, okay, we're getting back to school, we're getting back in the swing of things. We're not traveling, so it makes it a lot easier. And a lot of times, if you go like end of September, sometimes the prices have dropped after the 15th of September. Sometimes you get lucky and get cheaper prices.
Buenos dias, Henry.
Hey, Henry, good to see you again, buddy. Did you ever have to hitchhike in Europe? Is hitchhiking still common in Europe? I have hitchhiked before. I would not recommend it. A lot of places now, if you do it, you can get arrested for it. So it's not as much of a thing. I know,
it's not a thing like
20 years ago. I mean, I have a buddy of mine. He's probably like 15 years older than me. He went all over Europe hitchhiking. He loved it, and he still tries to do it now, but no one picks him up. So it's not as common as it used to be, I would say.
Judy, I have no idea. OG, thank you. How feasible is it to do Bavarian countryside of Germany and the Swiss Alps all in a week?
It's doable.
Yeah, you can do that.
Like, I would assume you're leaving like Saturday morning and you get in Sunday morning into Munich and you're going to leave that next Sunday and be back home on Sunday. So with that, you can take the train down to Innsbruck if you wanted to go into Austria, or you take the train down into Zurich. And then you can go into like Interlaken and Lucerne and stuff like that to see those ones. So it is definitely doable. I wouldn't worry about that. But if you want to do that, what I might look into is a multi-city ticket where you fly into Switzerland, see that stuff, and then you come up to Munich, then fly out of Munich. So you don't have to worry about that getting back to Munich for your return flight or getting back to Switzerland for your return flight. So you got something?
I have a few somethings, but this one I don't.
Okay, so Nicole Farrice, Jocelyn, is it safe to travel alone?
Yeah, but do your research, do your homework, pay attention to where you are. Use all the good normal things that you would do anyway. But my big one really is just to really research where you're going, so you're going somewhere that's pretty safe before you go and jump out on your own. I'll travel by myself, but I really enjoy spending time with, like, maybe I'll take my sister, one of my sisters, or one of my girlfriends or something. Just, I like to have somebody else with me. That's just who I am. So, but pick that person carefully. Judy asked how people are donating. I have no idea, Mark.
Oh, they donate. So
if
you look in the feed, hold on, let me show you. So if you look down here, you'll see like a $ somewhere if it's possible, because you can't do it from every country. It's not always available. And you click on there and it's called a super chat, and then you put in information. You can donate money that way. Speaking of which, just one came through. Thank you very much, Frost Element. I know you. I had your notes down to talk about this. So they're running the half marathon in Rome.
Cool.
But they asked for tips for international sporting events. Okay, Olympics, marathons, anything. Just know prices are going to get jacked up high. Restaurants and hotels like stupid. So you want to book as early as possible for those things. If you're looking to go to the Olympics in Japan next year, book now, because when there's big events like that, hotels will actually kind of like extend their booking times, because a lot of them will let you book up a year in advance. Some will be farther. I know if like when I book our group tours for my students, like we have to find the right time to book them. But once we know we're going to do the trip, we book it right away so we can get our stuff together. But where I've had issues, I was in Dublin when they had the Dublin Marathon, and I was coming in the day of the marathon, and apparently the people didn't want to move out, and so the hotel's like, sorry, they didn't want to leave, so we have to let them stay. You're out on the luck. So I'm there at Dublin Marathon. There's no hotels. There's nothing open. I just got kicked out of my hotel. I'm like, because they're like, well, we didn't give you a room. Make them leave. So I mean, I found something. So a friend of mine lived there, and they let me stay at their place. But I mean, that's kind of the scary thing. So make sure you got that stuff booked way in advance. You pay the deposits. You're like, hey, look, I paid the deposit. Give me my money. You know, you can't.
And you may want to book through the hotel specifically, not with like booking or hotels.com and all that stuff.
Yeah, because those ones you're screwed.
Because you may not have any recourse if anything happens through those.
Yeah, like for example, I went up for a conference in Chicago, and then the conference got canceled, but I'm already going up to Chicago. So I'm up there, and it was at the Marriott was where I stayed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were the Marriott, no, was it Marriott? Or the Hyatt place?
I don't know.
Was Hyatt or Marriott?
It's one of those
It's one of the yeah, and so I got up there. I'm like, hey, they just told me they canceled the thing. I've got 3 nights here in a conference hotel, and anybody has to go to conferences knows how those are not cheap. And so I'm like, hey, look, they canceled it, and I only need 1 night. I'm going back tomorrow. Can you help me out? And the first thing she asked, did you book it with us or did you book it through Bookings? And I'm like, well, I booked it through. It was Hyatt. I booked it through the Hyatt website. They're like, okay, we can do something with that. Because if you book with Bookings or cheap tickets or whatever, that we cannot do anything because that's on their end and there's nothing that can be done.
However, that said, sometimes you get cheaper deals or something on booking.com, but often I will call the hotel. I'll like screenshot the picture of whatever it's going to cost with booking. I'll call the hotel, see what they're offering. Like sometimes if you call, it might actually be better than what's on their website. And I have actually had them give me the rate that I found on Booking before.
Mm-hmm. So that would be one thing.
See if you can't do that.
Also, reserve spaces to eat if you can. Like in DC, it's very hard to reserve spots. But if you're going to a place that's going to have a big event, reserve. Like if you're going to go to Mardi Gras, things like that, make sure you're getting reservations for restaurants because there's not a lot of places to be because there's so many more people than usual. So I hope that helps you. Okay.
Yeah. Hey. So. Somebody asked what we do with our dog while we're traveling. So if we have a house sitter for like a long trip or something like that, he stays here with whomever is house sitting for us. He also goes to daycare. Let's hope he doesn't hear that.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, daycare? Let's go.
He'll jump right up on the table. He'll be so excited. Yeah. He has stayed with his trainer before, and I think we'll probably do that again because it's good for him. He gets a little bit of a refresher course. All right. So, and someone asked Lisbon or Madrid. I'm personally impartial to Lisbon because we live there. Although Madrid's a cool city,
you can't go wrong.
You're not going to be. Yeah, you won't be disappointed either way.
Yeah, I mean, they both have decent day trips. From like Madrid, you go to Segovia and Toledo. If you're in Lisbon, you go to Centro, Évora. There's Cascais. There's plenty of stuff to do. So either way, you're going to be okay. So the 144 workshop. Thank you very much for the super chat. First trip in September, Atlanta to Rome, Venice, Paris, and London via rail. Worth spending 3 times for open jaws or find a return flight anywhere. The open jaw tickets sometimes. Oh, if you're not sure what open jaw tickets are, people, that's when it says I'm going to come back anytime.
Right.
They're harder to get these days, but you can get them. But I think you'll pay through the nose for it. If you have a rough idea when you're going to get back, like for your trip. If I'm going from Atlanta, I mean I do Delta to Rome, because it's a direct flight. Then I come back London to Delta. That way, so I have the multi-city ticket, and then I have my set dates when I'm coming and going, and then I can meander the rest of the way myself.
You can figure out the rest on your own. And honestly, if you're doing the Rome, Paris, or Rome, Venice, and then Paris, London, if you've already booked it by rail, that's fine. But you might be able to find some really inexpensive flights via like EasyJet or Ryanair or whatever. Welling, one of those cheaper airlines, and then you get to kind of save yourself a little bit of extra time if you'd like to.
So Peter Sasbo, hi Mark, my German teacher wanted to show a video about Bavaria during class. I suggested watching your video, and the class all enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And that's the thing is, I've had a lot of teachers, a lot of students write me like, hey, we watched your videos in class today, and one of my buddies, he's a principal, and he walked into their Spanish class, and there was one of our old Spain videos. He took a picture like, hey, look what we're doing. I'm like, cool. So that was pretty nice.
Mark is the consummate teacher. He loves to teach.
Well, hey, it's good. You're going to educate people.
Are you going to do this one?
No, I'm going to do this.
That
yes,
one.
yes.
That's
so
the one.
Rapsu 93, the most popular misconception question for people is, if I ever go to the United States, how expensive would it be to drive from New York to LA or San Francisco? How safe is it? How long will it take? It will take a long
no stops.
Time.
We're talking minimum and
like
straight
4 or
through
5 days.
4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Do you understand 4 to 5 days of like 10, 12-hour driving?
Yeah, the gas isn't too expensive. Like if you go by a liter basis, it's about 50, 60 cents a liter for gas. So it's pretty cheap. Gas is pretty cheap in the U.S. versus other places. Right now. But yeah,
Tomorrow
like those kind of things. We'll get a lot of people that'll write us say, hey, I've got a couple weeks. I'm going to fly to New York. They're renting a car and go down to Miami, then over to L.A. I'm like,
no, you're not.
No, just it's not where it's easier to fly. Or what you might do is like maybe you explore like the Northeast and rent a car and see that. Then you get rid of the car when you're in DC. Then you fly over to LA and do that, or like do different areas. That might be something there. So hold on, did I miss one?
No.
So there's that.
I was
so
getting to that one.
Time for a kiss. Thank you for helping support us again. They had an anthropology teacher that visited several tribal cultures, Africa, south of Amazon. Would you ever do this kind of travel? Yes, we would.
Absolutely.
Like,
that would be really cool. That's
yeah.
one of those things we're waiting for the kids to be a little bit older to like appreciate it. And
yeah, well, we've already done some, like in
I guess we have
in
South
Costa Rica,
America.
Nicaragua. We've done in South America. We're gonna do some when we're in Rwanda and Tanzania.
The one in Ecuador when we ate with
the
indigenous family.
Like they had because they guinea pig there, so in the back he had all these like wood crates. He raised them and stuff.
That was really neat. So I guess we have done it, but like. I guess when I look at an anthropology teacher doing this, I'm thinking more like really immersing yourself in it. So anyway, but yeah, we're all about that. It's pretty amazing. Henry.
Thank you again, Henry. So Mark and Jocelyn, all your epic travels throughout the world. Were there any experiences with food poisoning? How about your two boys? Caleb was throwing up through his nose in in Vicenza. Because it was a poor dude. It was so I was there.
He got bad.
Yeah, we were in Venice. That's one of the reasons why I always say don't expect good Italian food in Venice because there's just tourists there. We were in a place. He had the seafood mix, and there was a bad mussel or something in there, and he was just. It was so
violently
bad.
Ill.
Yeah, because like I was there with students and we were traveling, so we had an itinerary to go. So Jocelyn stayed back with Caleb. I took Liam and my mother-in-law to the next city with the students, and she stayed a couple extra days with him and Vicenza because he was so sick. I mean, he'll tell you, "Oh God, I'll never eat that again." He's like, he was mad at me the other day. You let me eat that. I'm like, I didn't know it was bad. I mean, come on, man. It's been like 3 or 4 years since that happened.
That was really bad. And then Mark in China. This moron.
Hey, I know. I am okay with this. I am okay with that. There wasn't food poisoning.
No,
My body just couldn't handle the tastiness.
Let me tell you, Mark kept eating street food, and they have like
it's so good, but it's so not. But you shouldn't do that.
Boxes of meat on the street, and it was the hottest summer on record for the last 150 years, and my nitwit husbands, they're like, oh, let's eat this.
It was so
good. Oh my gosh. He's like, but it was cooked meat. I'm like,
no, I didn't care about that.
It was like, rancid first.
Maybe, but the thing is, it was so tasty, I didn't care. I still don't care.
Oh, he was so sick.
I was so like one time I was teaching a class because I was teaching in China at the time, and I got so sick in our hotel. Like, because in China, it's the holes in the ground toilets, it's the squat toilets, and I never quite mastered the squat toilet pooping. Let's say. And so I'm like,
Mark.
So I called Josh, like, look, I'm coming back from work. Just be out of the way. Just have the toilet open, the door ready, be ready. And it's like, how long it takes me to get there. I'm like, I'm booking. I get to the hotel, the door's locked. I'm like, what the hell? We're like, no one's coming. I'm like, what's going on? And then one of the kids opens the door. I'm like, hey, and she's in there going to the bathroom. I'm like, she's like, well, I didn't think it would take you that long to come. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I just had to pee, and I'm not kidding. It was like 5 blocks. My husband is a big man. He doesn't run that fast. And he got
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
It was hilarious.
But even for that street food was so good. I don't care.
Y'all, the laughs we've had over food poisoning and poop.
So I hope that was worth your $5 for story there, Henry. So yes, we had some. We have had a few. So let's see what else. Right. Oh, I like Ben V writes, how has traveling helped you connect more as a family?
Poop.
That poop, yeah. No, but this is actually a serious one. This is one of the reasons why we really, really promote and really want people to travel with their family. And it's not just with your kids, with your parents and stuff like that. It's a very big bonding experience.
Multi-generational travel. We're trying to take trips with all of the grandparents. We've got my dad left, and I think that we're going to do that this fall with him. But it's like it is just it's amazing. I love it. There's nothing.
Yes, I mean, what's really great is when I see it where my parents and her mom can have a conversation with the kids about their travels together. Mm-hmm. It's something they can talk about versus if it's not just you want to make cookies, like they have something more. Because I know with me, I mean, I love my grandma. We did lots of stuff together, and we went, before she passed away a little bit. It was like we'd make cookies, we'd make stuff, and we'd listen to baseball games. Like that's what we had. So we had something to talk about and things like that. But I know my grandfather, on my mom's side, we went on a schooner trip together for a week. We were on a boat in Maine, and we were talking about that all the time till he died. And so it's like we had something to really bring us together. And I know for us, it also helps because then it cuts off the devices. So it's not you being the bad guy saying no more Fortnite. It's like, hey, they don't have. There's no streaming service.
The internet or whatever.
We're not taking the switch to Ireland kind of stuff. So it really has helped us a lot. So another thing, D.A. Thompson, trains in Italy, luxury or regular between Florence and Rome. And Rome, the port of, I would go with the Eurostar, the Freccia fast train. Just do that between Rome.
Save yourself the time more than anything.
And those ones are all usually always on time. It's the local trains are not always on time, which I needed to explain better in my Shocks of Italy video.
I have never been to Little Rock. Ask the Clintons. I bet they know where to eat.
Yeah, because I have no idea. I haven't been there for a long time. My dad used to work there, but he's not here right now. What will your next trip be? My next trip is going to New Orleans, and our next family trip is going to Belize. So we have those things. Thank you, Gold Waterlock 34. Pakistan, I got some buddies from there. Hopefully going to get there next couple of years. So that'll be kind of a fun one. Sam FW is back. 7 days in Spain. Where should we go and how should we divide time? I would fly into Madrid, and then you could do Madrid, do a day trip to Segovia and Toledo, and then you go down to Segovia to see kind of like the like stereotypical Spain, and on the way down there see Cordoba. That takes up all your time. That's what I would do.
Scott Neal, would you ever think of doing a house swap for a trip? We've never done it, but I have some really good family friends who did it, but they did it with their second home. They had an apartment in Miami that they swapped with somebody in Rome, and they had a wonderful experience. They got to be really good friends with the people and stuff. So I know it can turn out really well. I don't think I would, but I'm just kind of private like that, I guess. As much as we're live feeding from our house right now, but yeah,
because we've had so many friends that have had good stories and bad stories. I think that's why they did their second house, not their main house.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And also, there's not too many people coming here, so
and we don't have a second house.
Yeah, so hey, Mark and Jocelyn, love your videos. Thank you very much, Donna.
Thank you.
You only know English. That's totally fine. Can I go around Germany?
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be totally fine with English in Germany. Germans speak English very well. You'll be just fine. Don't worry at all. Okay.
We have a lot of videos on different parts of Germany that can help you plan, and you'll do well.
Thank you, Cranky Babushka. I'm glad you like our videos.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in ages.
So
Evie, and we have been to Greece. I am half Greek. We have spent quite a bit of time there. What did you think of Dutch street food?
I love Dutch street food better than restaurant food. There's so many cool Dutch foods. But we have actually a video of like Amsterdam street foods. Just put like Amsterdam street foods, Wolters World, and there's one there, and I think I burned my mouth like every single time because it's always so good, but it's so damn hot when you get it. Like but it's so good. Oh, the bitterballen, the like little fried meatballs are so good, and the croquetten. Oh my god, and the little pancake things.
What did you do that with?
Oh, Dutchified. If you're looking for a good channel on the Netherlands, and especially Amsterdam, Dutchified's a good channel, and he's a really good dude. I really like him. I can't wait to see him again when we go back to Amsterdam next year.
Peter Payne, that is so funny. Way less gutter oil. I have nothing else to say about that.
So, all right, moving on. Yeah, croquette. Yeah, that's what I was talking about too. Yeah. Places to go to ski in Europe that are cheap. I would say the Czech Republic and Poland are your two best cheap places to go skiing. Just know if you want to get all the accoutrement that goes along with skiing, you need to pay for the price for the extra stuff. So That would be one thing I would let you know.
Nicole, you also asked about about traveling by yourself and if it was safe and stuff. Dude, don't go couch surfing. Stay in somewhere by yourself. Quite frankly, I don't think couch surfing I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. If I wouldn't do it myself, I wouldn't let my kids do it. I'm not going to recommend it to you. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Nicole had asked, I'm leery of websites like couchsurfing, though, rather use Airbnb. And like Jocelyn said, I mean, I don't feel comfortable couch surfing. I knew people that did do couch surfing. When I lived in Portugal, I had a buddy of mine who did it all the time, and he would have people come stay. And he was an okay dude, because he'd be like, look, here's some maps, here's some stuff, this is why I go out if you want to do something, no problem. He was kind of cool. And he was very popular, but he would have like people come stay with him, and they would tell their horror stories. So we'd go out and drink and stuff, and like, oh, there's some couch surfers with us. Oh, cool. So we meet them, and they're like, yeah. I mean, I had one guy that was like, you can sleep in my room. I mean, just kind of like weird stuff like that. And that's one of those things is you got to realize that if you're going to be doing a couch surfing or an Airbnb kind of stuff, they don't have the same regulations that a hotel does. And so there are other issues out there. So do be careful with that. Like, I mean, when I was 20, 22, would I have done it? Probably. But now there's no way in hell I'd do it. So.
Okay, so I want to do a couple things. Somebody asked if we've ever been to the country of Georgia. We've not. We have definitely talked about it. And it's a possibility that that's all going to get looped in 2020. We haven't set that yet, but that's definitely on the very possible list. A woman was asking if she just had a knee replacement, if it would be difficult to do Malta with a knee replacement. I think it might be. Lots of walking and stuff.
Well, if you stay in Valletta or you go to Medina, it's it's all cobblestone stuff, but it's flat. Like, that's one thing. Walking in Valletta, the capital, that's where you're going to fly into. It's all flat, but it's flat cobblestones. You have that stuff there. So if you're like, if you don't feel comfortable with a little bit of wobbliness, I'd be wary. At least give yourself some more time to heal before you do that. But like longer term, like if I know people that have tough times with steps, I'm not so worried about it because it is pretty flat there. So you have that.
Okay. And then someone asked about stuff to do in Morocco. So we were just in Morocco in November, December, sometime around there. And we had a wonderful time. We shopped a lot and went through the markets and all of that. And one of my favorite things we did in Marrakesh, we took a cooking class with a group called Fin d'Epices, FAIMDE SPICES. It means like hunger of spices. Like, anyway, fantastic people. I have an interview. If you look, if you do YouTube search Wolters World, Morocco interview with a local, I interviewed Chef Ilham. She's amazing. The food was awesome. And we got to make it all. Our kids do it. And I don't know, the kids got to cook with us. It was a fantastic experience. So that is something I would totally recommend that you do. We've actually sent some friends there. And it was they had a wonderful time too. So it wasn't just us. There's a lot to do in Morocco. You can go out into the desert and do the camels, and there's hiking in the mountains. There's a ton of stuff. And somebody now, I just saw it come up, is asking whether or not Morocco is dangerous. I have to say I didn't feel uncomfortable, but it was the four of us. We had a reputable guide when we went and did things. So like anywhere in the world, be on the lookout. We're always like that no matter where we are. So there's that. We went to Casablanca. Casablanca is a city. It doesn't feel especially Moroccan. I mean, it is Moroccan, obviously. But it wasn't as like the real culture filled, because it's more like the place for business and things like that. So it wasn't quite the same experience as we had in Marrakesh, but it was a really cool place to go and see, and we had awesome seafood, just absolutely phenomenal. Farron, thank you very much. I'm glad that we have been an asset for you and your wife. You are RVing from Madrid to Malaga, up the coast to Barcelona. Any recommendations and must-sees? I wish that Mark were right here, and he's down talking to the kids. Because he would have better ones. What is the name of that? Oh, Cadiz. That's the one I love. I loved Cadiz. We really enjoyed it. Had a really great beach. Not it wasn't overly run with tourists. It was really cool. Hey, husband.
Yes.
You coming?
I'm trying.
Okay.
You know. I'm not playing Fortnite, but I want to be sure I'm signed in on Nintendo Net.
Farron is, I said stop in Cadiz.
Madrid to Malaga, up the coast of Barcelona. Okay, so if you're going down to Madrid down to Malaga, obviously Cordoba, Sevilla, Ronda, all great places to visit on your way down there. Oh, you love
Ronda.
Yeah, Ronda's great. If you're going to go then along the coast, definitely stop in Valencia. Spend a few days there. Great Art Deco architecture. Beaches right there. Great food. Not a ton of tour. Like there's tourists that go there, but not a ton. Like compared to other places. So that would be definitely something to do. Yeah. So what else we have? Ottawa, Canada. I actually found...
That was really loud in my ear.
No, I actually found some of our old Ottawa videos that I didn't put out like 4 years ago. So maybe we'll have a throwback Thursdays for some old love and hates of Ottawa and sites. So maybe I can do something with that.
Tony, you're too sweet. Thank you. And I agree.
Rob Sue says, I live 40 minutes from Tampere. A lot of nature up there. Yes, a lot of beautiful nature up in the middle and the north of Finland. I actually broke my collarbone up there. So
yeah, it's still weird.
Yes, it's actually, you go like this, like, oh, there's a bump there. Yep, you can see where it like almost broke through the skin when I was skiing. Hence why I don't go skiing so much anymore.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, thanks. I hate holding the fort without my other half. It's really weird. Just not,
You're doing just fine. So, Finn writes, what places have good exchange rates? Nowhere. But honestly...
ATMs?
ATMs. No, here's the thing. Do not use like Euronext or whatever. Go to an actual bank and use their ATM. Okay. And when you use an ATM, use your debit card from your local bank that you told you were going to travel with. You're going to use that. Okay. And then if they give you the option, we can give you a guaranteed exchange rate right now. And they'll be like, for 100 euros, we'll give you $132. And like, then that they're always very make you feel good because then it's a guaranteed exchange rate. Well, here's the thing. I've seen them where there's up to 10 to 15% difference from what the exchange rate they offered you to the actual exchange rate your bank would have given you anyway. So never go for the transfer. If you go buy stuff and it's in euros and they say, we can change it to dollars for you, don't do it. Buy it in euros because your bank is going to give you a much better exchange rate than they will because they're doing that to make a little bit extra money for themselves, okay? And be careful because some stores, like in the big tourist areas, they know that and they just automatically put it on the dollars for you. And there's that. You're like, no. I'm paying in euros. I'm in a European country. I'm paying with euros. That's what I want because otherwise you can really get screwed that way, okay? So just want to give you the heads up for that. Henry is back. What are your thoughts on Boeing's planned hypersonic airliner that could fly from New York to London in 2 hours? Do you guys also think teleportation is the future of travel? Love to hear your opinions. We had the Concorde for a long time. That made that a 3.5-hour flight, and it was not financially feasible. If they cannot make it financially feasible, it doesn't really matter if it can physically do it or not. If people can't afford to pay for it, it might not work.
As soon as I saw about this plane coming up, my first thought was, I can't afford that. I'll never be able to afford
Concorde
that.
is just stupid expensive. So that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Now, if they make it where over time it's cheaper, of course, that'd be really great. Because now if it's 2 hours from New York to London, all of a sudden, if I'm Qantas, I am buying a whole fleet of those things. Because one of the big things for I'm sure they subsidized from the Australian Tourism Board, because Australia and New Zealand, they're great places to go, but they're so far to go. So you have to be careful with that. So I think that's one thing. Now, teleportation, funny enough, I'm working on a Don'ts of Space Travel with John Michael Gaudier from the Event Horizons channel and John Michael Gaudier Space Channel kind of stuff. And we're doing a Don'ts of Space Travel. But also, that got me, I thought about this teleportation thing too. And you can go into the whole Star Trek mythos where, some of the earlier people is it just a copy of me that's getting sent there or is it actually me getting sent there? Because here's another crazy thing.
Thanks for just opening up a giant can of worms.
Isaac Asimov, another kind of futurist kind of YouTube channel on here, he and I have talked about something about this. Like if you could copy your mind and send your copy of your mind to another planet or maybe going to Paris, but you don't physically go there, but your copy of your mind goes there and comes back. Did you really see it? Because your mind saw it. Do.
Okay, so somebody asked...
All kinds of crazy stuff out there.
I think it was Just in Time asked about going to Brazil and not being able to speak Portuguese, but having friends there to help. So if you have somebody that's traveling with you that speaks Portuguese, yes. And in tourist areas in Brazil, you'll find people that speak English. But I would really say that you need to pick up the basic verbs, and the question words would really, really help. Faz favor and obrigado and things like that. And honestly, Brazilians will appreciate that so much. Nobody really bothers to learn Portuguese. And so it would be a huge thing for them. Somebody asked about salmaki ice cream. That's all I have to say about that.
If you don't know what salmiakki is, it's a candy in Finland that tastes like black licorice, but
really strong.
It's
black.
super salty. Like
we're not talking Brax.
No. Like if you took like black licorice and a salt lick had a baby,
that's exactly what it would be.
That's what it is, and I'm making it sound good.
No offense to the Finns.
I'm sure we already offended every single Finnish person out there. I'm sorry, my Suomalainen friends. Ystävä, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Other stuff. So how similar is Portuguese and Spanish? You know Spanish. Sam, you'll be able to read most of the menu. If you speak Spanish, you'll be fine. The pronunciation is a little bit different. That's going to be a little bit tough, but you should be okay getting around.
I know Portuguese-ish. And I do really well in Spanish. Like, I can understand everything. So if I can do it that way, I would assume that going the other way around would be the same thing. Yeah.
See, I'm gonna guess Oero 32. The F off is for my impersonation of salmiakki. Well, I will take that F off as a badge of pride. After having many salmiakki kosu in my life, I am good. Thank you.
Remember that he lived in Finland for a year. So like,
I love it. I love Finland.
Finland's awesome. Minus the salty stuff.
Yes, but they have a lot of good candies there too, aside from that one. So let's see. Let's scroll up and see if we're missing some other things. Have you been to Antigua, Guatemala? No, we have not.
But we're going to Guatemala for a day when we go to Belize.
We're going to Belize. We're going to go over to see some
Tikal.
We're going to go over there. But I think we're going to do an El Salvador and Guatemala trip like this time next year because the kids usually have kind of a longer break.
Hang on. I just want to...
A longer break so we can take them and spend, a week between the two. So we are going to explore some more.
Denise, we have definitely had.
Tell them the question first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're relating to.
Denise, she says, come to Brazil and eat rodizio, barbecue, and see our beach from Sao Paulo. Not only have we done those things, but Mark's Brazilian mom and dad live on the beach in Jorea. In Iguape, o fin do mundo.
As I said, the end of the world. Yes.
And it's lovely, and we really enjoy it. And everyone should eat rodizio if you are able to.
That's cool. Denise also back again in Bloomington in the U.S. Indiana University. They have Portuguese classes. Yep. Like where I teach, they have Portuguese classes as well. It's kind of nice. So you can do those things. Southeast Asia. So Kyle's asking, have you been to Southeast Asia? We will be getting there. We have not been there yet for our travels. Our Asia stuff is just the China and Japan stuff so far. We had a whole plan for Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, all kinds of stuff this past summer. But then we had a wedding to go to in Brazil, so family trumped all that stuff. So that kind of got thrown back up in the air when we're going to be doing these things. Sujin Miyumi asks, how do you guys make money traveling? The ads that you see on the YouTube videos that go before there, we make like 0.00001 cent per like view, basically. But most of the stuff we support like from my job and stuff like that. So that's how we did. That's why if you see below it says support honest travel, patrons on Patreon do help us out, by helping us, so we can get new gear, we can do stuff, things like that. So it makes a big difference. When people buy t-shirts, we get like a couple bucks and stuff. So little things like that can really help out. So there is something there. So there's that.
Someone asked about Dutch versus German language skills.
So Dutch is just German spoken with a hot potato in your mouth. That's all.
Mark speaks German. He doesn't speak Dutch.
No. But it does sound like I should. It's like...
It looks like you should. When I read it, I can't tell the difference, but I speak
the thing
neither.
is, when you hear, like, if you speak German, you hear people speaking Dutch, you're like I feel like I should understand this. It's like when Spanish people hear Portuguese, like, I feel like I should understand this. Like, some things I'm getting. Like, I get the idea.
But it's not all there.
Yeah, it's not all there. So, remember, German with a hot potato in your mouth. Mm-hmm. Hope that answers your question. So, B.N. Smith Law, Budapest, Vienna, and Prague. Thank you very much. Equal days in each city, or is it one city worth extra time, expense, or another city? Probably early December during the Christmas markets. So you'll be fine. All of them will have Christmas stuff to do. You'll be great.
We've done all of them.
Yeah, and honestly, all those cities are awesome, and if you spend the same in each one, you'll be fine. I mean, the only one, because Vienna has got more museums, Prague's got more things. I mean,
everybody's got their own thing. I think personally, I would, if I had to choose a place to spend an extra day, I would probably do it in Vienna simply because of the museums. Because they take more time than some of the other things in Budapest and Prague, but that's just my own
yeah, whereas I would spend one extra day in Prague because I like the beer and duck. So I mean, you're not going to go wrong. Like that is a really, and we've done that at Christmas time before. Caleb lost a boot there. Whatever you see, like a random shoe or a random boot, kid, like, what happened here? Because the kid fell asleep and his boot somehow fell off his foot and his parents don't notice.
Somebody asked if we've been to Africa. We've been to North Africa. We went to Morocco 2 months ago, and we are going to East Africa this summer. We are going to be in Tanzania and Rwanda, and we are going to go on a safari, and we are freaking
go Serengeti, go see gorillas, all kinds of good stuff.
Super excited.
Scott Neal, hey, good to see you up here again. I know you've been commenting again. My mom and I's trip, we're working on that. It's basically going to be a week, but most of the time it's going to be in the Shetland Islands. And I'm glad you love your Wolters World shirt. I appreciate it. And, if you do pick up a Wolters World shirt, you go to woltersworld.com/shop. We do have like a normal shirt that's up there all the time. If you send a picture of us with your shirt, we like to put out a video every couple months of our fans wearing our shirts around the world. So you've probably seen Scott a couple times in our videos. So
yeah, you have.
So Daniel Head, thank you very much for the super chat.
Thank you.
Is it worth getting the international driving permit to maybe rent a car in Spain? Or is the public transport good enough to skip renting a car? So these are two completely different ideas.
Right.
Okay, for Spain, you don't need to rent a car. You can take public transport everywhere, and you'll be fine. Okay? They have the AVE, they have the fast trains, you'll be good. Now, yeah, however, if you're looking at renting a car, it really depends on the country. Like, we go to Ireland, I don't need an international driver's license. But Greece, they won't rent you a car unless you have
one. And I'm
one.
half Greek, and I got my family standing there next to me going, but she can drive.
No, it doesn't matter.
You still, you know what, we every
we
year.
We did go that one more. we talked to the local guy, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
No, I had one the last time we were there.
Oh,
I
you
had
did,
one.
didn't you? Yeah.
We ever since that first time we got denied in Greece, and there was a strike, and anyway. That's another story. We have been getting. We just go to AAA and we get our international driver's permit every year. When it expires, we just get a new one. It's like $20.
Yeah,
I think that $20 is really worth it because
the peace of mind.
Just to know that if you need it, you have it, and we can write $20 off too.
Yeah, and also one thing I would say, Daniel, if you're going to be like the international driver's license, if you're going to be going to South America, it's going to be a different one. So make sure you know where you're going to go if you're going to get one.
Yep.
Henry's back. Where do you go? Mark and Jocelyn, if time travel to the past was possible, what era would you love to experience? I truly hope time travel to the past will be possible. Actually, funny enough, I'm working on a video for this for April Fool's Day.
This too?
Shh, spoiler. So you have some fun stuff with that. I don't know. You'd probably go back to Jane Austen's England or something like that?
I would like, oh gosh. So that ancient Greece, Jane Austen's England, and probably like the 1800s, the early 1800s maybe. I don't know. I'd like to, like that whole steampunky era, like when
You mean like last summer at Comic-Con?
No, you know what I mean? But just like when we started to really get on the move and have industry.
Late 1800s.
I just like to see all the things that are happening, But anywho.
All right. So Thomas, hey, I'm on vacation in London right now. Watched your videos before I left, so thanks for that. Hey, I'm glad we could help out. I hope they helped. I'm going to be back there here soon for a conference, so I'll have to watch my videos again to get me ready too. Have we been to Alaska? Sadly, Big Tone, we have not been there yet, but we do want to get there, so that is something that is going to be coming up. Mark, do you have to take 100 medical shots before you go into Africa? No, you don't.
No.
Depends where you're going to go.
3 or 4, depending on where you're going.
Yeah, and that's anywhere. Like when I went to Brazil, when I went to the Pantanal, I had to get the yellow fever vaccine, which you can't really get in the U.S. It's very hard to find, so I actually got it when I was in Brazil. So.
All right. So, have you ever been to Yellowstone? Gosh, I was when I was a kid. That is someplace we really need to take our kids. They really need to go and experience that, and we need to probably do that soon.
Yeah, I think that's not West Coast.
Peter Payne, you're brilliant.
So you got to tell them what they say. You can't just say.
I was just saying he says.
Okay.
He's hateful, y'all.
I'm not hateful. You're just
hateful.
I know when I watch live feeds, people just talk. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for them.
Peter Payne says, just don't drive in Athens. It's nightmare fuel. And it is so, don't lick my hand.
Don't put your hand on my face.
He's so right. Because Athens is one of my top scariest cities to drive in. So don't do it.
Just because what you think is 2 lanes is actually 6 lanes.
We use the shoulder is actually a lane in Greece.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, so Nader 1, should I get an international driver's permit as a flight attendant? I would do it.
Yeah.
A lot of the flight attendants I've talked to, they'll use public transport to go places. Like when we were coming back to Casablanca from Marrakesh, we actually were in our cabin was with 2 flight attendants from Air Canada. Super nice people. And they were like, yeah, no, we have our longer layovers on our national flights and we do that. So just in case, I would have it. So there's there. Josh Scott, thank you very much.
Not Josh, John.
Oh, sorry. I can't. Someone smashed their hand in my glasses so I can't see. Why don't you read it then?
All right. John asks, if you wanted to buy a narrowboat and want to travel the UK for a couple of years, is there a way to work around the 180-day limit?
No.
I'm
not
like,
really. There's certain things like someone asked about the Schengen thing.
Leave?
One thing,
it's out of Schengen.
Yeah, you could leave, but you want to get that stamp. Make sure you've left and get that stamp that you left, and then you come back in to get another 90 days or 180 days or something like that. But technically, that's still using up over 180 days in a 360-day period. So you got to be very careful with that. Yeah. It was kind of like when the person asked about the Schengen. It really depends where your passport's from, so it can be kind of a thing. So if you wanted to do that, what I might look into is plan some time going back to the U.S. if you're from the U.S. or going into Germany or something like that, so you come back and reset your time. But technically, though, that is not totally cool. So just give you the heads up for that one, okay? So do be careful. But you'll have a good time.
Dude.
Yeah, but you'll have a good time doing that. I've had buddies that have done that. They have a really nice time with those boats and stuff like that. So you'll be good.
We remind Nicole of the Little Rascals.
What?
Nicole Farr says you remind me of Little Rascals.
Nicole, you're on fire this trip.
You are.
Okay, so Rob Van Kooten, I love your name. That is awesome. Dutch friend. I love small countries. What about Macedonia? It's not that small. There is a few things to see there. We have not been there personally, but I have some friends who've gone down there and they had a nice time when they were there. So there's that. But the one thing I would say about when you go to small countries, especially go to small countries that not a lot of people visit, they really appreciate the tourists when they go there and they really want to show you a good time. And they want to make sure, I remember when I lived in Lithuania, people were always so impressed that I knew some Lithuanian. That I can't tell you how many free drinks I got over the time when I just speak a little Lithuanian. So if you're going to Macedonia or you're going to Latvia or you're going, Kazakhstan or something like that, they're like, what are you doing here? Why aren't you going to Paris or something like that? I want to say your country. People really appreciate that. So the small countries, you really get it.
We really enjoyed our trip with the kids a couple of years ago. We did Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia among 6 other countries. But that bit right through there was a really fun, enjoyable time. And people, like Mark said, they really loved it. Okay, so Kim Campbell was talking about Orlando City. And this is something, she brings up a really good point, that there's a lot outside of just the parks. And Orlando City really is a fun place to see outside of Universal and Disney. So I remember going and doing a bunch of fun stuff with some friends that lived it's Winter Haven, Winter Park, Winter something about a winter. And we had a great time. And, I was with locals, so I just kind of, was along for the ride, and they took me to places. But everything we did was really great. Okay, so, and Travis Duquette is asking about the Duofire adapter that we recommend on our website and whether it works in Greece. Yes, it does work in Greece.
We took it there.
And yes, sometimes in Europe, some of the adapters are just a little bit, or some of the plugs are a little bit different, Italy will have a third prong.
Yeah, that's their old ones. And that still will work with that. It'll still get in there. You just don't have the third thing, the base one. Yeah. So there are that. And then the UK.
The UK is different.
Ireland's different.
Ireland, but there's somewhere else that I feel like there was.
Malta is also different. Malta's the same as the UK.
Yeah. No, that wasn't what I was thinking of. But anyway, generally speaking, that Duofire we've taken all over the world, and we haven't ever had any problems. And when those places in Europe are different, it's typically a really old hotel or a really old apartment that hasn't been updated.
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, you aren't gonna You have to almost look for those kinds of places.
It's kind of like, like if you go visit your grandma at her old house, you'll see her plug that doesn't have the third, like in the U.S., doesn't have the bottom thing in it. The bottom, like the grounding plug, it's like something like that. So there's that. South Texas, good to say hi.
Hey.
Malta, lots of Malta people here. I've been to Malta stuff.
Right?
It's worth a visit. It's a really cool place. Johnson wants to do a master's there. I think if we go back to work in Europe, she can go there. You want to go there and do your master's, and she can come visit us on the weekend wherever we're at. So there's that.
What? You're not going to live there with me?
Well, I don't know if I can get a job at their university. So
come on. Any university would be happy to have you, especially Georgia. You see this? Georgia wants Mark. Go Dogs.
You want Georgia to want Mark.
I want Georgia to want Mark. I want you to want me.
Well, I do want you, but that's a whole other thing.
It was the song, honey.
Yes. So, Douglas McLaughlin, thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Question. Issue with Brazil visa applied inside your U.S. passport. What do you do if don't have enough pages in your passport for the Brazil visa? Do you have to first renew passport? Can Brazil still do visa? Well, here's the thing. Now Brazil has an e-visa, and you actually print it out at home and take it with you. Okay,
and you don't have to.
And it's only it's like $60. You don't do the 181 where you send it in. And actually now they're talking about getting rid of the visa for Brazil for U.S. citizens to entice more tourists to come, because that's why they got rid of the freaking annoying visa process. They made an e-visa. It was super simple to do. If you got kids, they need a few more things. Make sure the parents' signatures are exactly like on their passport. Otherwise, like Liam's got sent back because my signature didn't look like my signature. So there is those things. So do look at that. But if your passport's getting full, go get a new passport. Because they back in the day, they would, if you went to like an embassy or something when you were traveling, they would put like another 24 pages in. They are no longer allowed to do that. You got to get a new passport. So if you're going to be traveling a lot, Douglas, if you filled up your passport, when you get your new one, ask for the bigger, thicker passport. One. It's the same price. I think it's the same price, isn't it? Oh, it's a few bucks more.
It's like maybe $25 more.
Yeah, but you get that, and then you have to worry about it anymore. But if you're going to go someplace where you might need a visa, that is one thing.
We always get the 50
even for the kids.
Ones.
Yeah, even for the kids.
The kids, kids get new passports every 5 years, unlike us, and so they have to go.
Caleb, I have stuff for you.
We still need 50 pages for them.
So
Wait, Caleb's playing in the kitchen, y'all. It's okay. Mark, have you ever done the working holiday visa?
Those, like, are you talking about like Australia, stuff like that? A lot of times it depends what country you're from and where you're going. If you're a young person, I do recommend that. It's a fun way to go work abroad. You get it like a fun time. It's like a gap year kind of fun time. I would recommend it for that. But there's a lot of restrictions on what you can and can't do. I know in Australia you can't take certain jobs, and some you can. You can't stay so long, but it's a good way to experience it. My buddy Magnus did it in Australia with one of his old girlfriends, and they had a great time just exploring Australia and working, 2 months here, a month there and stuff. So there is some stuff there. New Zealand, I think, has something similar to it too.
Rapsu wants to know tips to see the giant sequoia trees in America. Do it by car.
Yeah. By car, you're looking at Northern California. So you're going to be flying into San Francisco, drive up that way. You're going to have a nice road trip. Go up from San Francisco up to Portland, Oregon. You'll see a lot of really cool stuff, okay?
Damien R. says, hey, after visiting so many countries, does traveling get boring? No.
I do miss a real bed sometimes. Like, that's one thing is we had this conversation in our last live session about the IKEA beds in Europe. Like, a lot of Airbnbs, they outfit everything in IKEA, and it's not built for husky fellows or love or amorous couples. So that gets kind of annoying. So I'm always glad when I get back home and I get my big king size bed. I know people go, why do you need a king size bed? Well, once you have one, you'll understand why you like them. So that's the one thing I kind of miss with that. Hold on 1 second.
What, baby? Do you need me?
So Scott Coburn writes, have you ever been to Seoul? I went last year and had a great time. So, Scott, I have not been. We're actually looking to go in there. My dad used to work in South Korea. My mom and I are still pissed off at him because he never took us with him, because he would go and get like the whole, like, he was a nice executive. So they got the whole like char treatment and the food and the people and stuff. And he waxes about it every time. Oh, it was so great. I'm like, and you didn't take us for what reason? So we kind of missed out on that one. So there's that. Let's see. Denise, my visa is 10 years, and after is easy renovation. Maybe after 6 years, I go make more traveling, because from my nation, lots of tickets for travel free, make more cheaper. Yeah. If you can get when you have the visas and you can come back, that's one thing. If you ever are applying for a visa, Get the multiple entry one, even if it's a little bit more, because you never know when you're going to go back to that country. You may say, I'm only going to go to that country one time. You never know. Something else might come up. And if it's for the life of your visa, just do the multiple one, okay?
Mo Gaming, what's your question?
Yeah, because they scroll through here quite fast.
They're scrolling through fast, and it's just kind of like what catches our eye.
I've seen some people answering your question as you're going by, but I haven't seen what your question was. Let's see. So Jimmy UK 007 Deaf Man here. Hope you ate sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
His mother is like sticky toffee pudding addict.
A lot.
You know that American Sign Language and British Sign Language is different.
Hey, I'm trying.
That was kind of you.
I
hope you understood my husband.
Okay, so Mo Gaming, have you ever been to Dubai? No,
we have not been to Dubai.
I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Maybe next January, I don't know, or February.
Mama wants to fly Etihad first class. Ain't happening.
It ain't happening. No, it ain't happening.
But I want to.
Hey, you can win. You go with a lot of things. It ain't gonna happen. So let's see. I love it. So Mike writes, "Hey, I love your videos, and you unleashed my love for travel. In fact, I'm now studying in Florence, but I feel now a little bit sad since my carbon footprint goes up. Do you have any advice?" Well, I'm glad we can inspire you to travel. That's really good. The carbon footprint thing, a lot of people ask us about that. And the thing is, it sucks, but the thing is, we're seeing the world. And one of the things that we've really enjoyed is that we've been able to make these videos to show people the world. And there's people that can't travel. There's people that are stuck at home that write us say, you know what, I'm homebound and I get to see the world through you. And I'm like, for me, that makes a difference. And also, I also think of it this way. If I'm going go to these places, we go to these places, we don't like them, or we do like them. We're like, hey, this place isn't worth your time. All of a sudden, someone's not taking that trip there. That cuts down on their carbon footprint. So it is one of those things. And I know like some airlines like, oh, want to donate money to offset your carbon footprint? Well, does giving them money really offset a carbon footprint? Because last time I checked, putting $1 down doesn't do that. There's some stuff that they may put in programs, which would be nice. But I was always looking into what they're doing with that carbon footprint money that is, instead of just giving to them. So just have a heads up like that.
I also feel like when we are traveling.
Sorry, Jimmy.
When we're traveling, we do less. There's like less heating and air conditioning happening and things like that. Because when you're traveling, you're using less resources. And so like our house has no air or heat or whatever. Like I just feel like we're using less stuff. So I feel like it offsets a little part of it.
Yeah, but
not enough, but a little bit.
Yeah. So any places that Casey writes, any places that disappointed you? I was very much disappointed when I went to when I went to Brussels the first time. I was expecting so much more, and I think it's like I say in a lot of my videos. The reason I was disappointed in Brussels is because you hear about it so much, high expectations. Because since it's the head of the European Union, you're thinking, oh, there's going to be a lot of stuff there because that's where the news is from. And really, there's not a lot. There's some stuff there, but it's like, don't think it's a first tier European visit country. It's a second tier, and then you'll be more okay. Pisa, way big disappointed in that. There'll be something.
Huge disappointment in Pisa.
Yeah.
Supreme Traveler says, planning on traveling from Paris to northern Italy. Is it cheaper to travel by train or by plane? Probably by plane.
By far, you will save way more money during the plane. Mm-hmm. And I can't lie for that.
Mr. Pictor, we kind of answered this earlier. How often do you use open jaw ticketing? And we don't.
We don't. Not anymore. Let's see. Emperor King, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll find. I'll get those old Ottawa videos up. You can have a laugh. I have no beard. I'm a lot less husky, and I have short hair, so it's kind of funny to watch.
Tintin asks, "What do you do when you're looking for accommodations?" I look in a lot of different places. Again, I always look incognito mode or secret mode, whatever your computer may have, so that they can't see all of my stuff. And anyway, that's kind of, I can look and price things out. And the things that I look for, I read reviews like mad, and I kind of also critique the reviews because some people are just asinine in what they say. But I always look for somewhere well located, good price, and cleanliness is high on my list. So that's it.
Time for a Kiss is back. Ever seen bioluminescence lake water? Where was it? My favorite time, I was in Argentina, and I was on the coast of Argentina, and I was there with some buddies of mine, and they had a Range Rover like Jeep kind of thing, and we were driving along the coast. I mean, because it's 1,000 miles of nothing except for coastline, and we're going, and the tracks behind our Jeep, we turned off all the lights, and you could just see it light up behind us. So it's like a line from the Jeep behind us going. That was really really cool. And then I don't know, was that with you?
In Savannah on Tybee Island, at certain times of the year, there's bioluminescence in the water. And I just remember doing that when Caleb was little, when he was like little, and we would go out and watch like the shooting stars and stuff, or when there's, what do you call that? The Perseid meteor shower. And we would go out and rub this, the sand and stuff. And that was really fun.
So one person from Southern Georgia, they asked what's your favorite and least favorite part of Southern Georgia. I was going to say UGA's in Northern Georgia. It's probably her least favorite part about that. That would be one thing.
Oh my gosh, the people, the food, the atmosphere all the time. It's just I love it. That's all. Go dogs.
Let's see. Denise is, I think, asked, do you ever organize travel with Disney World or help people out with their trips? We answer people's questions because what we try to do with our videos is help you make your own decisions and kind of do your own thing. So we're kind of like an informational help. We don't like book people's stuff. We just kind of help you along the way with our information. So that's what we try to do.
Yep. Hidden gems. Nader, we actually have video on like hidden gems or the small like.
Yeah, we have two hidden gem videos for Europe. I need to do a new one of those because I need to do a lot of our older videos again because they were filmed before like 1080 or what? Not 1080. Before HDs and stuff like that. I got to remake those because those videos don't come up in search anymore because they're too old. Karen Renshaw, hey, thanks for watching. Good luck with your shirt and have a fun time booking your trip to Madrid. You have a great time.
Send us a picture.
Hey, Dane from Dubrovnik, you have a great city. I'm sorry it gets overrun by so many tourists during the day, but at least Dubrovnik's trying to do something about that. They stagger when the ships come in, so they can't all be there at the same time. So that helps up a little bit. So there's things like that. And you'll see cities. You're going to see more cities like the Venices and Barcelonas and Dubrovniks that are really getting overrun with tourism. They're going to have to start doing stuff to kind of limit those things because the locals can't afford it, and it just gets really tough. So that's a future thing. You're going to get a lot in travel.
RXNSE, any travel tips in the LA territory for hikes in Sierra Nevada? You know what? My parents and I did that when I was a kid, but I was very, very young, and that was a minute ago. I don't have any current information for you.
And Tony Rain, I like this. Tony Rain's, this channel makes me hungry thinking of all the tasty treats around the world. When I started traveling, my goal is to gain at least 20 pounds minimum. Me too! I didn't travel.
You just have to take it off afterwards.
Yeah, I haven't mastered that. I've got the put it on part. I haven't got the take it off part yet. So, Mark, what did your German language certificate, did you do it while in Germany in the States? Okay, they asked how or whatever. I never got the certificate. I did my master's in Germany, so it was in German. So I knew enough, and it was funny because they're like, well, you need to take, because in Germany, if there's not a certificate and a stamp, it didn't happen. Okay, and so I'm having this conversation with people, talking to them in German, all this kind of stuff. Well, where's your proof that you can speak? I'm like, we're talking now. No. The fact that you can talk and have this whole discussion doesn't matter. You have to have the certificate for it. So there's that. So I took classes when I was in the U.S. and I took some stuff when I was there.
Bruce Demon asks that I'm planning to go get a standing room only ticket for the Vienna State Opera. Do I really need to get in line an hour and a half before the performance? I'm going in early March.
Early March, I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either.
I've actually done that before. We did that when I went to school there way back in the day. And we just kind of walked up, got our tickets, and like we were standing behind the people that were there. And actually, if you want to get, sometimes you can get like the fifth seat in like one of the balcony things, like where it's like a booth, and there you have like the like obstructed view version of it. But it was kind of nice.
I went to do those two right there. OG says, at this point in your travels, do you guys find yourselves using travel guides less and less?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Well, I mean, you mean like guides or like books?
Oh, I thought guides meant people.
Oh, that's different. Well, guides, if it's a place we really want to know a lot about, and then we know it's a good guide, we've actually used those a little bit more now.
I feel like we've used more people, but we hire single persons to take us around. So I feel like we've done that more in the last couple of years than we used to. And then the question right below that, here, stop moving. I may be traveling to Krakow alone. Should I pay for a tour for a few hours?
The only tour, I mean,
No.
you don't necessarily need to do it. I would say if you want to do one of the tours that goes out to Auschwitz, doing a tour of Auschwitz and Birkenau, I mean, you'll get the impact by yourself. But if you go with a tour, you really will learn a lot more. You might need to do a tour if you want to go to the salt mine where they have the mine where they have like the churches built into the mine. You might want to do that. So there's those things. Time for a kiss. Ever seen and captured fireflies? Fun. Where was it? Outside our house, my backyard when I was a kid. We have them all the time. So we have that. So yes, there's that one. Henry's back. Have you guys ever seen Barcelona, Real Madrid soccer team in person? Are your boys big sports fans? Do you guys think we'll win the Super Bowl? So we did the Camp Nou tour in Barcelona. Caleb loves soccer. He plays a lot. We always get we try to get the boys jerseys from local teams. So like we have, instead of having they have Roma, but instead of having like a Lazio, they'll have like Vicenza. They'll have the other team. Like we were in Ecuador. They have the Cuenca team. They have like the other teams out there. That's kind of like cool to see. Josh is a huge sports fan for Georgia Bulldogs. Super Bowl.
I'm not an NFL person, but I'm going to pull for Todd Gurley and Sony Michel.
So because they're both Georgia players, so she's like, it's like her two sons are playing against each other. How can I cheer against them? Todd
Gurley, like I watched him score his first NFL touchdown. We were there at the game, and I had a big "Go Gurley" sign with the Georgia G on it, and I want to sit down with that man and talk football someday. I don't know. I just think he's an awesome player, and I think he'd be really cool to hang out with.
Anyway, moving on. Hybrid voltage. Is Prague still really beautiful in the winter? Yes, it is.
Prague's lovely in the winter. It is really beautiful.
So then Ryan asks, "Hey, hi from Malta." Malta is like, we must be big in Malta.
Malta today,
I know. Huh? Thanks for all the videos. Any tips on visiting some great places in England? So great places with your kids. I wouldn't just say England. I would say with your kids, the outdoor stuff in Wales and Scotland and Northern England are going to be fun because they can get out and run and do fun stuff like that. So that's what I would kind of recommend. Time for a guess is back. Scuba. No, I have not done scuba. I get harpooned when I go in the water. So we've done snorkeling and things like that, but we haven't done scuba, sadly. We're going to have to get going.
I want to answer this because I think this is a really good question. Okay. Allie Hale says, how do you think traveling so much has changed your perspective on life?
Well, it's definitely made me more open to ideas and people and cultures and food and realizing that in the end, I think we're all the same. We're all good people. There's good people everywhere around the world, and you can meet nice people anywhere you go. And don't let your stereotypes keep you from going someplace. So for me, it's really been a really opening experience, and for my kids, it's been great for them because they're much more open to new ideas and new foods and stuff like that. So it's been kind of cool. So I mean, it's just been a wonderful experience to do that, and that's one of the things I love about Wolters World. We get to share this with you all, and then help other people realize that, hey, maybe I'll go try that place out. Like someone's asked about Nicaragua and Malta and these things that most people never think about going to. Now we're opening their minds, and that's one of the great things about travel. It's been able to do that for me.
I'm grateful. Every trip we get, this world that we've been given is beautiful and amazing. It's filled with wonderful people, and it is a blessing and it is an honor every time we go somewhere. And that's my perspective. It has made me a more grateful person to just be able to experience it.
Yeah, and we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes now, and Liam they have haircuts in 15 minutes, and then Liam has soccer in 45 minutes. So we've got to find his jersey.
And I gotta get to the gym.
Yeah, in that time. And so, Jim, what's that? So we got to get all that stuff ready. So we want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. The super chats, it does make a really huge difference when you support us. Getting your search or being on patrons or Patreon or a super chat here and there. It makes a big difference. So everyone that did that, I want to say thank you. All of you that sending questions, thank you so much. I'm sorry we don't get to answer all of them. There's get so many that we're scrolling back and through and stuff like that. But we want to say thank you so much for all that you do for us and all the support you give us, but also all the inspiration you give us for all your great comments and the questions and things like that. So thank you so much. You want to say anything?
Just thanks. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I hope that you guys have awesome travels and go love each other.
That's right. Bye.